to you all the way from the city of Miami in the Sunshine State of Florida, bringing you the latest in the LGBTQ plus community. This is the FayWhat Show with your host, FayWhat.
Buenas noches, mi gente, and welcome to the FayWhat Show. FayWhat! So our show's mission is to entertain, educate, and unite our community with real-life topics in a safe, positive, and fun environment, because together we win and divided we fall. You know it. So our table topics are human topics. They're conversations that need to be had, and we aren't afraid to have any of them. No more being in the closet for our thoughts or what's important to us in the LGBTQ plus community. No way. So this week we have LGBTQ royalty. So Miss Celebrity Josie Smith-Malave. I like to call her Hottie Chef Josie. Chef Josie is known for her appearance on Bravo's Top Chef season 3, 5, 43, 52, 104. And today I get to catch up with her. She is not only an incredible chef, but she's also a really good friend. And we're going to discuss her life now, reminisce on the past, and where her life is heading to next. I have lots to ask her, so we have to get to it. I want to ask her all about her alter ego, DJ Snack Daddy, and we're gonna find out everything there is to know about Miss Josie. And then we'll also end our show with a funny, fun segment called The Funniest License Plates. Wait till you see some of these. These are freaking incredible. Anyway, so let's get started. Chef Josie is a classically trained bohemian chef, global adventurous, TV and radio personality, entrepreneur, former women's football player. Social activist and lifestyle ambassador. She spent a decade rocking the New York food scene, working under renowned chefs all around. Chef Josie is also a culinary adventurer who has traveled the globe, piercing the veins of each place she visits. She hasn't in a while, unfortunately, but I know she'll be getting back to that soon. Chef Josie, she connects with people through her genuine smile, good-ass food, and infectious laugh. Chef Josie is currently the owner of Bubbles and Pearls, a whimsical concept featuring champagne and oysters. It's fresh and bold flavors and an environment to match. I love me some Bubbles and Pearls, and I'm there at least once a week. But that doesn't even touch the surface of all things Josie. She's a badass DJ, and she's constantly doing for others tons of charity work wherever she goes. Welcome to the show, the incredible Chef Josie.
Whoop, whoop, whoop. Yeah. Thank you for having me. FayWhat?
Oh, I love it. I love it. You know, it's incredible, Josie, because we have passed each other like ships in a night. When I was in San Francisco, you were in New York. When I was in New York, you were here. We have been like just back and forth. And then I was blessed to be added on to a show a year ago called It's Happening Out, which you're on. Mm-hmm. And like instantly we connected.
Right. And it was finally the time for our ships to collide,
to come together.
Right? Yeah. And it's like now I start realizing how deep our connection goes, and that's just really so cool for
Isn't
me.
it?
Yeah.
You know, I remember stumbling out because I used to drink a lot.
Yeah.
Everybody knows I'm a recovery.
Me too.
It's not a big thing. Right? You too. I know. I remember stumbling out of cubbyhole. I've said this story a million times. Stumbling out of cubbyhole and seeing Josie outside and go, "Hey, girl." That's about all I remember about that. And now we can
Me too, though. You know, me too. So that's good, you know.
Josie, did you always, I know that you're from down here in South Florida originally. Did you always want to cook?
No. You know, if I have to be like completely honest, everybody asks me that question. I've been a chef for so long, but you know, like, people think that I got into cooking because like that was the first thing that jumped out of my heart when I started listening to it, right? But it's not. You know, I wanted to be, an entertainer. I wanted to be a filmmaker. I wanted to be a musician. That's what I wanted to be. But as the, cards were dealt, it just made the most sense. It was the natural evolution of the kind of history in my life experience and family experience. And it was just I would say the most authentic path for me to follow. And when that path was revealed, it just became so clear. So, that's where I've been going. I've been going that way ever since.
What came first, your love for cooking or your love for women?
Probably women, you know what I mean? Because I don't know if I really knew my love for
cooking growing up.
cooking. I know I love to eat.
Yeah.
but I don't know if I loved cooking, but I know I loved women since a young age.
So at a young age, you already knew, like for me, like I knew that I was really close with my best friend, and when my best friend moved to Florida, I was heartbroken. I now know that was those kind of feelings that I had for her.
Yeah.
I didn't know that then, you know?
Yeah, I had like some, I mean, they were weird to me then because I didn't know how to explain them,
Of course.
But at a very young age, I was totally like, attracted to other girls. And I think that those were the times when I might have been expected to be attracted to little boys, when you get that like first grader who has their first little girlfriend. It's so
That little
cute.
crush.
And I'm just like, I had crushes on girls, and I was like, is this, I don't know. And I grew up in the church, so that was like that was just a totally weird period for me, and I guess I kept those feelings.
Because you were scared, were you, like you said, you grew up in a church, so like, going somewhere where they're saying you're an abomination or saying that anybody who's gay is going to hell, I would be scared to like let those feelings out.
Right. I mean, that was the biggest thing. I'm already a sinner. So it's like, fire and brimstone and all that fun stuff. But I did grow up thinking that, man, if I like another woman, homosexuality, that is like, that is totally not okay, right? And if I go down that path, I mean, there's no way in this life that I will ever be successful or have happiness or just, live that life of my dreams. I know that, right?
Yeah.
And as I came up through my life, I mean, I was dating boys at that time for a long time. I was bisexual. I mean, even now I think I'm very fluid. So I'm pansexual, if that's what it is, because it's not necessarily only about women for me. I mean, clearly I have a preference, clearly. But it's about human. It's about human energy. It's about the connection. It's about
there's more to it. There's more intimacy.
Complex. Yeah.
Was your family okay with it?
No.
That was like, you didn't even hesitate there. You didn't even try to make it pretty or anything.
No. Listen, I think that a lot of folks can relate to parents in our community, in our LGBT experience, not necessarily understanding the choice, the decision, right?
And like we chose to be this way.
Yeah.
Like I would tell my mom, if I chose to be this way, I'd be with men, a blowjob and a sandwich, and they're happy.
And, and listen, parents have choices too, right?
Of course.
And I don't necessarily agree with all the choices that my parents have made, so there's that, you know? But, ultimately, when it came to this, my expression of my sexuality, right? Listen, I can't explain everything. I can't. What do you want me to say?
Yeah, this is who I am.
This is who I am. This is what I like.
And I don't have all the answers for you right now. This is just what you get.
Yeah. So I'm like, you can either accept me or whatever, because I don't accept everything you do.
Yeah.
But I still love you.
Well, and here we are decades later, and you still are that person, Josie. You are, hey, take me how I am. What you see is what you get. I mean, you literally are like that. Like, this is how I'm feeling today.
No.
Take me or leave me, and either way, I'm good.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. And it's luckily, like, my parents, they came around. I have some of the most supportive parents ever. Like, they were at my wedding. They are there. They love my wife. That conversation never even comes up because they know who it is I am as a human being, and who I'm sleeping with and who I love doesn't even have bearing on the conversation.
I love that. They've evolved.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about Top Chef, since everybody talks about that when they think of you. When you got that call from them saying that you were going to be on that first episode, were you in a relationship back then?
I was.
And how did that person deal with that?
Well, it's funny because
bitches be crazy, so.
That woman actually, I was with for 7 years of my life, and maybe a little bit longer, but just let's leave it at 7. And she was in my interview tape. So I had to send in, why I think I should be on Top Chef kind of interview tape. And then they ended up using that as a part of the show later. And she's the one who actually signed me up for that show, you know?
Yeah.
Because I just said, oh, look at this funny show that they have. It's called Top Chef, and it's all these chefs, you know? And I was just junior chef in a restaurant in Brooklyn, and I was new to the culinary scene, but I was committed. I was dedicated to being the best in the industry. And, you know, I just had a commitment to growing, right? And she actually filled out the application, and I got a letter in the mail that said, in the email that
You were selected.
well, I was selected for the next interview.
For the next phase, okay.
Yeah, so this time it was to meet with producers. And they were going to fly me out to LA to meet with producers.
Nice, bougie. All right. Uh-huh.
And then they locked me in a room while I was there and made me fill out this huge, like, psychological evaluation.
No way!
I think they were just making sure, making sure I wasn't crazy.
But
you know what I mean? Like, not that kind of crazy.
That's what I'm saying, but most of you chefs are a little crazy, so no.
Yeah, I think that they were just making sure that I wasn't, like, homicidal.
Got it.
You get what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I passed. In case anyone was wondering. Anyways.
You did pass, but then your girl did it. How long after did you guys break up?
Wow. That was like probably like 5 years later.
Okay. Do you think, I mean, obviously once you got on the show, you knew that things would never be the same for you,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
So did that have like kind of bearings on your relationship?
Well, she definitely wanted to live a quiet life.
Yeah, she signed you up for Top Chef, right?
Yeah.
Like,
She wanted to live a quiet life and live on a farm. And, at one point in my life, I actually thought that living on a farm would be a great idea and have a couple rocking chairs out on the porch and adopt 13 kids and have like a bunch of animals. And like,
you really thought that for a second?
No, I mean, I still think that, but I wasn't ready for it at the age that my life was happening.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That was still an
In
option.
your 30s, you didn't want to go live on a farm and rescue a bunch of animals and all that, and she was ready for that.
Yeah, because all the crazy like New York City life was not really her speed, and we tried to work through that. We did. But it was just, I guess, it is what it is. We vibrate in and out of each other's life, right?
And I'm a huge, huge believer of reason, season, lifetime. I mean, people are just like, they're in your life for a reason. They're in your life for a season. Maybe you work somewhere temporarily and you become real close to someone and then they move away or something like that. Or a lifetime. You're lifetime folks, you know? And they're all important in their own way. Would you have done anything different on Top Chef?
Of course.
I for sure was expecting I did what I did. And,
I mean, of course, because when you go back and you look, do I regret anything I ever said on Top Chef? Absolutely not. Okay. Let me be really clear about that. Absolutely not. And because I'm always myself.
Yeah.
There was no one playing Josie on Top Chef. That was me, only always. So that's never been the part I regret, right?
Yeah.
But like maybe just like being more prepared for the challenge and the stress part of it.
Okay.
Because
how would you? Now. Who you are now probably would have had different exercises as to how to prepare yourself. Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
Like the anxiety was a lot.
Well, and not only the anxiety, but like being able to think under pressure.
The
and
time crunch and like 13 minutes. You know what I mean?
And not only the thinking under pressure, but it was like the explaining your dish and being able to be quick on your toes with like your responses.
Yeah.
And I just wasn't there yet. You know what I mean? I was still fumbling my words because I had too many things, too many thoughts and too many responses running through my brain. And then you came up and I was already trying to calculate which one would be the best bet to respond with. And then next thing you know, it was like, oh my God, you sound like an idiot, Josie. You know what I mean? So I'm like, oh God, you know, and
But they must have loved you. You were on for more than one season. They kept on calling your ass back. Like, I've never seen that before. Why? What? Like,
Yeah.
what was that twist there?
Hey, ask the producers. I mean, they liked me for a long time, and then I don't know what happened. So
If they asked you
I'm
back,
just kidding. I'm just kidding.
If they asked you back now, would you?
Yeah, but I wouldn't come back to like compete again, you know, unless it was like in an all-stars
Yes.
battle. I wouldn't come back I mean, I would totally come back to do some judging, you know. I'd totally come back to like be a contribution to the Top Chef family, only always. I think they know that. And that's pretty much where I'm at with it, you know?
Can we talk about Kristen?
Sure. Yeah.
Do you think that she covered up for you?
What do you mean?
Well, in that episode where she got sent home because she was head of the restaurant wars or whatever it was, and they said that your part was lacking, and you know, her as head of the team went home, which they've done on many episodes, you know, and then they like people were writing, were like, oh, she didn't stand up for herself, she was covering for Josie, blah 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 blah.
Okay, so let's get real clear, okay? Right here on the FayWhat show, okay? Kristen Kish wasn't covering for me, and a matter of fact, all three girls, and even though I love my, you know, Chef Liz, you know, it was like Mean Girl 101 through the whole experience.
Really?
And, you know, I mean, even so much when you watch the episode, you know, I was like, oh my God, look at that beautiful, like, orange color to add some, like, pop to the dining room. And, you know, like, one of the other chefs said, I mean, I'm sorry, their names, you know, escape me right now. Because, quite frankly, I don't think about you guys, you know, but I have my own life, you know, I really do. And, like, those things, I already let them go. I wish everybody the best of luck. But honestly, that whole experience was like Mean Girl 101. And when I said something about that, they were like, keep it classy, Josie, or something like that. Like little jabs. Like, that's so immature, number one, you know? And it's just so, like, it's your taste. You want to be, like, so bland and sterile. I mean, that's your thing. It's fine. And each concept has that concept. So maybe it was about communication in the concept. So when you ask somebody to be a contribution, they're going to contribute. When you give them the task of being a contribution, you have to also relinquish some of that control, or you have to give very good instructions.
Very good instructions,
okay?
and that wasn't the case on Kristen's part, for
and,
sure.
In regards to the dish, like, if you go back to that episode, Padma says this broth is delicious.
Yes.
Okay? You know, even everyone says certain things. But the reason why they you know, singled me out was because one of the plates didn't have enough broth. And quite frankly, Kristen is the one who put the sauce on the plate. So I personally am not going down for not doing something, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then they tried to spin it, and oh, well, why didn't you put aren't you a chef? I'm like, we're in the middle of restaurant wars, okay? She's the executive chef. I'm just trying to be a good soldier here. Don't put me in the middle of this. And then, you know, she had her teammate that wanted her to stay.
Of course.
So she was there, you know, trying to throw me under the bus. And then, you know, unfortunate, the other one, you know, the other chef kind of followed suit because that was what they were doing at that time.
Yeah.
And they thought I was cannon fodder and easy to go. But I had already been down this like rodeo before. You know, I've been on that around the block before, and I knew exactly what the game was. You know, go ahead and oh my God, say that I oversalted it, and then guess what you're going home for? Oversalting things, okay? So I wasn't saying anything except the facts. So I just say this to anyone who's out there who's questioning, Kristen won. She's a badass chef, period. She was a badass chef through the whole entire thing. Even though she went home, she knows why she went home. And she ended up coming back and winning it because she's a badass chef. There's never been a debate about that. And a matter of fact, during the whole entire Top Chef season with her, I would be there in the back saying, girl, you're the most talented chef here.
Wow.
You're the most, but they don't show you guys that.
No,
they don't show you that.
No.
So, now, we don't talk because there was a lot of stuff that came out, quite frankly, in the final edit.
Yeah.
That I was like, wow, that wasn't cool,
That was
bro.
nasty. Yeah.
Yeah, that wasn't cool. That's not nice.
Yeah, that was low.
And you know what? I don't need those kind of people in my life.
Of course not. Of course not. But I've got to tell you that in my sexy porn mind, I was imagining you having sex with Kristen. I'm sorry. Just kiss and make up and everything will be fine.
Hey,
Throw
listen.
some broth on her.
Listen, facilitate the conversation, and I tried. One time, I'm spilling the beans here, bro.
love it.
One time I called her, and it was like during a process that I was just like cleaning up my life and letting go of a lot of things. And I called her and I said, hey, listen, I just want you to know that I forgive you. That's what I said. I forgive you.
And what did she say?
And I really do wish you the best, and I love seeing that you're thriving. And I said that, and she goes, forgive me for what?
Oh, wow.
So
there you go. Not imagining you having sex with Josie anymore. Let's move on. So you're not only an incredible celebrity chef, and you're not only a reality TV person, but you're also an incredible standing member of our community.
Thank
you
you, ma'am.
really are. So let's talk about your COVID adventure. I know, girl.
Yeah,
we could
let's
take a
get
whole
there.
hour, man. Your PSAs on Instagram gave me life. Whatever was going on, Josie was like, okay, I'm going to tell you. When it was the masks, when it was the vaccines, when it was just COVID in general, we've come a long way, but we also haven't.
Yeah.
We work together on this show called It's Happening Out. Hello, everyone over there. Love you, Steve, Darren, Al, David. Wednesdays at 9 o'clock on Facebook and YouTube, right? And, on that show, there was someone who got COVID.
yeah.
His name was Ron, right?
Bernetsky.
Okay, and he came in and what? He didn't believe that the virus was that strong, important, powerful. What was the deal?
Ron, bless his heart, and resting in power. He was probably one of the only Republicans, log cabin Republicans that I could respect and really like have a honest conversation with. Okay, there were a lot of things that we saw eye to eye on,
Yeah.
right? But there were also a lot of things that I was like, dude, don't you think that that's a little irresponsible? And one of those things was COVID and his experience of COVID, because he was towing party lines and basically saying, listen, this is just this is a virus. It's going to be fine. We don't need to change our lives.
People die from the flu.
Yeah,
Stop over-exaggerating.
Exactly. So he undermined the situation, right? And I know he's eating his words right now, right? But it is the reality of it is that that's where I think I got it. And while he was in the hospital on a respirator,
Wow.
I was at home without any taste or smell for 28 days, and
Your wife also?
No.
Not yet. Okay.
Yeah. And really just scared because it was in the beginning of COVID. So like I didn't know what the hell was going to happen, if this was going to take a turn for the worse. You know what I'm saying?
Get scarier. I mean,
Yeah. Was I going to end up in the hospital like Ron? Like
Yeah.
what is going on? And there's nothing like a fatal virus to help you get
right size.
get your
bearings together.
Yeah, you get grounded
Yeah.
and like really get connected to what's important for you, or to you. But what's really important, we say, oh, a lot of things are important, but what I mean is like what's really important to you. And so I'm really grateful for that whole entire experience.
Wow. So Ron gave you, well, he might have given you COVID.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, Ron passed away.
Yep.
And but then you weren't testing negative. You kept on testing positive for a freaking while. It was
Yeah.
way over a month. How long was that?
65 plus days.
Oh my God.
Yeah, man.
Because when Josie does things, she's got to do things big. You know what I mean? Like, that's the thing.
Nothing like average, that's for sure.
And your family during this time, they were okay? They didn't have it?
Yeah, no one had it. My mother lived with me. My wife, lives with me. We did our best to keep everything. It was like a hospital in my house, which is amazing. I have a whole regimen that I activated as soon as back then we were all
still learning. We still didn't know anything.
We were in research, and I was researching I had to turn the TV off because every day I thought I was going to die. So, I started juicing. I had 2 quarts of this green power drink that I would make every single day. I was taking all kinds of like oregano oil, every single liquid. I would drink hot liquids all day long, nutrient rich hot liquids.
Okay.
I would stand up and do breathing exercises with my hands, raised above my head. I would keep my lymphatic system engaged regardless of the fact that I felt like I had a gorilla sitting on my chest, what I mean? And my brain was in a blender and then poured back into my skull. But all of those things, it just was, to me, it was just a real clear message from the divine to slow down.
Yeah.
Slow down.
Well, you haven't really slowed down after that, but
come on.
We'll get there. So was it during this time that you decided to run for mayor? Because on top of all this crazy, do you understand? Now my boys understand. My boys are like, well, okay, we can, I'm like, no, it's going to take the whole hour. You don't understand this, girl. We've got a lot to talk about.
Yeah.
So, was it during that time when your brain was all squishy that you're like, I should run for mayor? No.
I was already thinking about running for commissioner.
Okay.
Okay, and I had a meeting to sit down with Justin Flippin, who was my friend and former mayor who passed away.
Yes.
But we had a lunch scheduled, and we were going to sit down, and I was going to share with him that I had decided to run for commissioner, and that I would then support his reelection. And right before the days that I was going to file the paperwork, and obviously I had COVID, that was like, oh my God, how am I going to still run, whatever. But I still decided to run anyways. And when Justin passed away unexpectedly, there was something that happened in that moment. And it really, I just answered a calling.
Wow. Well, let's talk a little bit about that. Let's talk about your spiritual side, because probably the side of you that I was floored over, and I'm embarrassed to say that I didn't expect it from you. Everywhere you go, people know who you are, and But has that been so? Was you going through all that crap with COVID what really enlighten you to that place of spirituality, or have you always been that way?
So I've always been spiritual.
Okay.
I've always been interested in philosophy and just psychology of things, you know what I mean? And so the question around spirituality, what ended up happening is basically growing up in a uber religious home, it opened the door to religion, right?
Okay.
But what I found as an adult was religion and spirituality are distinct. And, I can be Christian and I can be spiritual, right?
Yeah.
I can
it doesn't have to be one or another, one or the other. Yeah.
And honestly, what I know just through my own personal experiences with whatever power anyone wants to call it, I call it God, you know what I mean? My experience with the God I learned to, believe in, that God would never create all these options if there wasn't a lesson in all of these options.
Definitely.
How is it that we expect someone on the other side of the planet to be an evangelical Christian? I get all these missions that are happening, but I don't really believe that the God that is the almighty creator created this mission for our churches in the United States to go into Africa and South America and wherever to convert people into Baptist evangelical Christians. I don't think
I don't see it.
I don't understand. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Because then, I guess it's like Lucifer, that show, then God is a cruel God, you know? But the reality of it is in spirituality, that's about connecting to something deeper. That's that other level, right? That energetic level of things,
What is something that you do that you practice every day for your spiritual program?
Oh, I meditate. So there's that.
Did that come easy for you to be able to turn off your mind?
No.
No, it doesn't sound like it, because you're constantly like you're always thinking like 50 things at once. So it's got to be hard to like center yourself and be able, I can go away for 4 minutes. I'm super proud of that too.
Yeah.
No, but that's all I got, 4 minutes.
No, and I can go away for 10, 20, 30.
Beautiful.
But it started off as a commitment to like just really. I love guided. There was the Deepak Chopra 21-day meditation challenge.
Yes.
I love those.
Yes.
And every time he has one, I'm in.
They do one during COVID, during quarantine or something, and it was fantastic. Yeah.
And abundance, and I got through a good breakup and transition period in my life with one of those 21-day challenges.
It always takes a crazy bitch to put you there.
Yeah, and I listen. Look, you got to use these tools. Anything that helps you get grounded, right, and connect to like what's really important, so you can start listening to what's right here and right now. Not those little voices and those experiences that haunt you from your past, right?
Yeah.
Because there's nothing you can do about that stuff.
No, they're
Absolutely
gone.
not.
They're done.
It's done,
Yeah.
right? But like, and I know that we all get real anxious about like, oh my God, if I don't do this right now, then my future is fucked. Excuse my French, but like, I get that too, right? But the reality is all we have is right here, right now, because if there's something that has been so real for me during COVID is the fact that like life is really not guaranteed.
No, tomorrow's not guaranteed. I mean, you were sitting with a friend having a conversation, and that poor man ended up passing away a couple weeks later. I mean, it's not. Why do women continue to push each other down in the community, Josie? Why do you think that is? Why? And that's not only in our community. It's not just LGBT, but LGBT is what concerns me. So why?
You know what? Listen, I think that it has something to do with our own pain. If women just continue to understand something and they're willing to hear this, that hurt people. Women, we're the same. We're the people in our own communities. Hurt lesbians, okay? And that's like, that's what it's about, and if we're not willing to address our own personal pain, our own personal traumas, our own personal scars, bruises, whatever you want to call them, but if we're not willing to address them and we're living with it and pushing it down, what happens is we're manifesting our partner to be our mother, our father, that ex-lover, that whatever, and you're just continuing to replay the same traumas over and over again in your life.
And over again.
And then the whole thing about like pushing each other down. Listen, we don't gotta be crabs.
Yeah.
And climb all over each other and put our foots in each other's, our feet in each other's faces and like be that way with each other. Lobsters, I guess, do that too, know? And we don't have to be like that.
No.
Like when the water rises, all ships rise. That's how it should be, and because why? Because we're already, even though we outnumber the men on the planet, and not that I have anything against the boys, okay? But we outnumber men on the planet. How are we the minority? I don't even get that, okay? And when we start to figure out and understand that we are more powerful together as a unified front, instead of trying to like, the insecurity, that's not very attractive.
At all.
Okay? Mm-hmm. Not attractive. Mm-hmm. Not attractive at all.
I don't want your wrinkles.
Yeah, I don't want your girlfriend, girl. Okay? Like, not really. And, all that insecurity when it comes to like, oh my God, here comes this nice young woman who does my job faster and more efficient than me. Hey, girl, That's just reality.
Yeah, it is.
You
It's
know
true.
what I mean?
It's true.
Like, reinvent yourself. Take that as a challenge, not as a challenge in a good way. Inspire you to grow, to like get better, to learn a new skill, to like continue to evolve. But what happens is we get so comfortable in our little box.
In our little box.
In our little box. And we get comfortable in that little box. And then it's like, okay, any women who
Jeopardize that box.
Yeah, threaten that box.
Yeah.
Then that's it.
Then we have to push them out.
Yeah.
I went to an incredible tea dance that you were at the front of. For we had this incredible tea dance with over 250 women at a leather bar, at a male. The Eagle, for all you leatherheads out there, okay? And you were at the forefront of that. And these were women putting this together, not pushing each other down in the process. How did that come together? Of all places in Wilton Drive that you could have had this tea dance at, you go and have it at a leather bar, a boy leather bar.
So first off, hats off to the Eagle, okay? You guys, thank you so much for supporting the ladies and like giving us a space to lift each other up, all right? Secondly, hats off to the ladies who are throwing this party.
Bernadette and that crew.
Bernadette and Sandy and Kimmy and all the ladies behind the scenes and all the volunteers who like were really committed to creating this like safe space for all of us girls to come together and have some fun. And I don't even know what to say. I was as surprised as you are. I mean, I was there. I had no idea. I didn't even know who the people were going to be. I was like, okay, let's do this. I thought it was going to be the small little room, and then it was like the whole club and spilling out the... I mean, what up, ladies?
What up?
Right.
Do you think that the L has it easier than any other letters?
Is that a trick question?
No, not at all. I'm serious. Do you think we have it any easier?
No, we do not. Listen, we're women.
And
And
let's start there.
we still think we're the minority. You know what I mean? So it's like, no, we don't have it any easier. We're infighting. We fight with each other. We're in defense in the world, and we have to understand something. Like, you were taught to be that. You were taught to think that you're not enough, that you have to apologize for what you're feeling, what you're thinking, what you want, what you desire. Okay? And it's not just lesbians, it's all the women. And that's how we were brought up in this society. Just like the men in my life who believe that, they are entitled to certain things. That's if we are willing as human beings to just simply recognize the things that we were taught as young people and understand and recognize and be willing to let that shit go and learn a new way of being a human being so that we can be better humans with each other, then is when I think that we're gonna. But you want to ask me if like lesbians have it easy? No, we don't.
We don't.
No, we don't.
And since we don't have it easy, is that why we don't help our trans women? Is that why we don't help our trans sisters? Do you think that that's the reason? Because I am constantly just unapologetically mad that more lesbians don't help trans women. We're all women. So how come we don't have a better bond?
I think that, I don't think that is necessarily intentional.
Okay.
I think that
You think it's an educational thing?
there's part education, part outreach. It's important when people don't understand, and any group of people don't understand something, it's on us to like teach them.
Yeah.
And sure, they have to be open to the learning. So, there's a conversation around that too. But I come from the school of anything is possible. You know what I
boundaries,
mean?
limitless, baby.
Yeah. And if we're having a disconnect with the women, the LGBT, the L part of our community, supporting the T part of our community, then we got to just do a better job, like you and I, Fay, to help bring that, bridge that gap.
Yeah, educate the rest of us because we're not bad people. We just maybe don't know how to reach out. So let's talk about one of my favorite restaurants on the planet, Bubbles and Pearls, okay? Now, let me tell you, all right, the lamb is incredible, the kale is fantastic, the flatbread is, the mussels. I can go on. You think I had an Impossible burger. I had a burger there made of an impossible meat, okay? I thought it was impossible for me to eat it, right? And it was delicious because this girl made it. You know, where does that come from? Where do your specials are always so unique, and they're always made with such incredible ingredients that you taste every little bit in them. Okay, I'm not a foodie. I'm not a connoisseur of that. I have not as traveled as you are, Miss Josie, but I know that when I sit there with that bowl of mussels and my bread, there's nothing happier than that.
Thank you.
Know, like, so how did you come up with the menu? Where did that come from?
It's so funny that you asked that, and I don't think I get asked that question enough. But you know, this menu was like me like throwing the pasta against the wall, and I said, you know what? Let me just like create a lot of foods that me and my wife like and roll the dice and hope that everybody else likes it too. Because this is the most like accessible menu I could come up with. I was like overthinking it. You know what I mean? I was going to make it super fancy and like, you know, bring in my molecular techniques and do all this craziness and be like, I don't know, and like foam you in the, you know, and like blow smoke in your face when you land, you know, and like whatever.
You were going to add reductions everywhere. That's all I ever hear when I
was gonna be deconstructed, you know, like, you know, I was gonna do it all. Who am I kidding? But the reality of it is that I was already living in the community, and I already thought that serving oysters was a big enough risk, quite frankly, because according to my wife, she worked over at Rosie's for like 9.5 years.
Oh, wow, okay.
And she was just asking her regulars, you know, like, hey, so what do you guys think about like oysters in the neighborhood? And everyone was like, gross. And like all this stuff, right? And it was friggin' hilarious because Marcy would come home and go, baby, I don't know, I'm like a little scared about this idea, you know, and I don't think so. And I was like, baby, we're gonna do it. We need oysters. I don't want to go and drive 40 minutes anymore for oysters. I need oysters. And so that was basically what it is. And then the food was just a reflection of what I like to eat. I was like, if I like it, you're gonna like it, hopefully, you know. Like,
no, and everything on there is delicious. If you're ever in South Florida, make sure you have to stop there and go. It's just really, really good. It really is. When I first met you, you were vegan, and then you went just plant-based, right?
Yep.
Where are you now? Like what? Because you've lost a shit ton of weight.
Yeah, thank you. I know. This camera doesn't do it for me, but whatever. I'm like,
don't worry, it's doing it for me.
Yeah.
We're all good. That's all that matters.
I mean, these pants are tight enough. I can barely breathe in them, but
you got in them.
I got in them. Anyways, yeah, I think they're like a size 14 too. So I'm like, wow.
Look at you.
Woo.
You and your wife are losing like a shit ton of weight. Like you've just lost a little baby dyke in pounds at this point.
Call my wife. She'll tell you all about it. But, you know, there's, what was I saying? Because I don't even know.
You would think that we were like at her place having champagne right now. What do you eat? What are you on right now? Like, what kind of diet are you on?
That's right. That's what we're talking about. I am plant-based right now. And so by definition, plant-based means that you basically could have like 50% of your diet is vegan or vegetarian.
Okay.
But 70%. 80% of my diet is vegan vegetarian. I just leave that little extra 20%. It's because I taste things, because I still own Bubbles and Pearls.
Of course.
It's until I like launch my next concept, which is a plant-based fast casual concept. Then you know, I you know. And my wife's cooking a lot of really good vegan food for me every day.
Yeah,
so
I've been seeing her post.
I'm
girl.
telling you.
It's like that food looks delicious.
Yeah, she's been paying attention. She's a finicky one. Like, I could eat the same thing for 5 days in a row. Like, I'm real boring like that, right? But my wife, she needs a new recipe every single day.
She needs a foam.
Yeah, and I say to her, I'm like, Marcy, I'm tired, okay? And so I stopped cooking for my wife, okay? There you go. Like, I'm the bad guy. But I like totally stopped cooking for my wife because she's too hard to please. You know what I mean?
You're too hard to please, Marcy. There,
too hard to please. So then now she cooks for me, which is like amazing, and she's
She's so
been paying
good.
attention.
She pays attention to your ass, Josie.
Yeah.
What are you working on?
I'm so impressed.
And one of the wonderful things about Bubbles and Pearls that I love is that your playlist. Like every time I walk in there, I hear a song from the 90s that I don't have on my playlist that I need to add it like right there.
Yeah.
You know, I love that. I love that. Weren't you working on like a rock and roll kind of cooking show or some crap like
rock
that?
And roll, the cooking show.
Oh my God, but
the cooking show. Yeah, hey, listen, man, any producers out there who want to like get down with this party, you have no idea. Like this New York Rock and Roll Cooking Show was this concept, and I have a whole reel for it, and it's hilarious.
Oh my God.
But we could, we have a whole like TV treatment for it, the whole thing. But that was like a heart project that I loved because I love rock and roll.
Yeah.
I mean, if you don't know, now you
Now you
know. And I'm a rock and roller, and the idea was to really get behind the scenes and like spend time with some of these rock and rollers and ask them what food inspired those albums and like what food nourishes them and gives them the energy to live that rock and roll lifestyle.
I love
and
that.
have like a real like heart to heart combo, because everybody spills the beans to me, so it's like
so why not?
yeah. And I knew a lot of rock and rollers back then, so I just thought this would be. And then I thought, well, this would be the New York Rock and Roll Cooking Show. Then I could go somewhere else and go, the Atlanta hip hop cooking show.
Yeah.
And like I could go and it would be like MTV meets a cooking show meets a,
meets a travel show kind of deal. Yeah.
But like really done very like beautifully.
Yeah.
Like artsy, in the Anthony Bourdain flair. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So that's what I thought a lot.
So revisit it. We could be co-hosts.
Yeah, let's do it.
I want to interview John Bon Jovi and find out what he ate when Slippery When Wet came out or something.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
I bet you do.
I bet I do. But no, I'm serious. So with that, yeah, you need to revisit that. I mean,
Okay,
Netflix,
we'll talk.
I'm telling you, Netflix will grab that shit. I mean, think about it, right? Wouldn't you guys want to see Josie travel the country, rock and rollers, food and music? That'd be dope sauce. So from that music, is that where DJ Snack Daddy came from? DJ Lady Snack Daddy, for you folks that don't know. That is
Snack
Josie's
Daddy.
alter ego that she uses when she spins on the ones and twos. So wiki. Is that where that came from?
No.
So you just needed an out to do some shit that Josie can't do? What?
Yeah, no, that came from just the life I was living in New York City at the time. You know what I mean? And like that was that show. But the DJ thing came because COVID has served us up a lot of loss, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Losing people who we love. And earlier in the year, I lost one of my very good friends, and COVID. Really sent her into a depressed state of being, and unfortunately, she took her life. And when that happened, this is like my friend, right? She was like a big sister I never had. And she used to call me Pato. And for those of you guys who don't know what Pato is, that's like,
a gay boy.
Yeah.
A gay boy in Spanish,
yeah. And so for her, because she was small, I used to call her Patico. So she was my little Patico. And we were the two girls who like could hang out with gay boys past 2:00 in the morning. And we would be up until the morning hours with all the gay boys. And we got the reputation of being like gay boys because they were like, who are these two? How are they? All the women we know go to bed, How
are you still hanging?
Yeah, why are you guys still hanging? We're just like, we love the music. And she was a DJ producer, Billboard, Top 100. And when she passed away, I again, answered a calling, I guess, and realized that I needed to continue the torch, carry the torch, and like in honor of my friend who maybe didn't know how much she was loved and how much she was still needed on the, in the world. But I know my friend, and if she went out the same way, she went out the same way. She would have, she came in with a bang, you know what I mean? And I think that she's probably like a few times have, been up there and like smiling down at me.
Does she send you music?
Oh yeah, all the time.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Josie, I love you and respect you so much. It's ridiculous how we've worked together just a few times, and I remember you coming up to me and just, when I had announced that I was going to get a double mastectomy, you know, you took me to the side and were like, bitch, whatever you need, I'm here. You're my sister, that's it. And I was like, well, bitch, I'm scared of you. Yeah, okay, yeah, whatever, you know.
I got to work on my delivery, you know.
But it was so true, you know. I mean, anything I've ever asked from you, if I've ever even just sent you a text, just something you're immediate to answer back, and you've always made me feel like I'm enough. So I want to say thank you for that.
I love you to death. So
I love you to the moon. Will you come back on our show sometime?
Anytime,
in the future?
maybe you'll have me. You know what I mean?
All right. So promise you'll come back on the show, and make sure that you follow Josie on all social media outlets. She's always dropping knowledge on her Instagram and sharing wonderful moments with her boo, her wifey, Miss Marcy, who is just another amazing human being. I love you to the moon. So now we're going to have our funnest segment. FayWhat prides itself on talking about whatever. You know, nothing is off limits. But for all the seriousness, there has to be laughter too, because laughter cures everything. We all know that. So tonight, it's all about the funniest license plates. And you tell me, Miss Josie, what you think about these license plates, all right?
Okay.
The first one. I'm waiting for you, Luisito. The first one.
Well, this one's kind of funny. I mean,
There it is.
Oh,
The first ones. Okay, what does that say, Josie?
vagina.
Vagina. All right. Well, it really is. The girl's name is Gina, and she just loves Virginia. That's it. So it's. Just saying. All right.
I would have probably pulled up alongside of her and gave her a little wink. You know?
I know, right? I would have done like a lick move, you know, like you just do that. But you know what I mean. All right.
Thirst trapping.
Number 2, pooped.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I mean, if you're pooped, I hope that you're not driving while you're pooped. Or maybe you didn't poop on yourself while you were driving. None of those things are allowed. All right.
Pooped.
Like, who would pick that? Pooped.
Yeah.
I don't know. Number 3, nutsack.
Oh my God. Virginia, what the hell's wrong with you guys, man? You see, this is what happens. You know, another anti-abortion state, okay? And now they're talking about vaginas and nutsacks. I mean, you guys, you know what happens when you're sexually deprived? This is what happens,
That's
okay?
what happens.
Go have some sex. Use a condom.
A lot of it.
You know, jeez. Ay.
Number 4, we love you, Virginia. Number 4, I love my butt.
What?
That's it. I love my butt, California. All right. Okay. Well, and we like your butt too.
I love my butt.
Thank you,
Okay.
Thank you. Number 5.
Yeah.
Fluffer.
Oh, you know, that's the porn industry license plate. The
Okay.
fluffer.
Do you know what a fluffer is?
Yeah, of course I do.
Okay. Tell our maybe our viewers don't. Why you look at me like that? I know that we both used to watch a lot of porn. I get that. But right now, I'm asking, what's a fluffer, Miss Josie?
Hey guys, you know, on the porn set, okay, in the event that the main characters are not getting hard, they bring in the fluffer who helps, you know,
Get things moving.
get things moving in the right direction, okay?
Yeah, but the fact that this person wants to put that on their license plate, their mother must be so proud of them.
They're probably advertising, because if they're in California, they're probably like, hey guys, I'm a really good fluffer, you know, call me.
Call me. Next, number 6. You're going to love this one, Miss Josie.
Oh,
What does that
really?
say?
I love anal. What the hell is that, guys? Where is this from? Florida?
That was from Florida. Do you want to know?
Ay, ay.
Listen, that was the Association of Nature Lovers. Why are you thinking so bad? Okay. It was not anal. The Association of Nature Lovers.
No, listen. Clearly, they're not having any anal in their life if they didn't see that they put that on their license plate. Okay.
Number 7, Hardick. It's a nice, beautiful, nice Irish last name. Josie.
Okay. Hardick.
Or
Okay.
Hardick. That's Pennsylvania, right? Yeah,
Okay.
of course it's Pennsylvania.
I mean, I could see a police officer on one of those true crime shows named Officer Hardick.
Number Wait, our last funny license plate is dun, 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 her box. I can see you have that in one of your cars. Her box, and that's just a guy named Herb. That his last name is Ox.
No.
Come on!
No.
That is her box. I'd put that on a Tesla. And that was the funniest license plate. Woo! Have an idea or a story that you'd like to share. We'd love to hear all about it. Cuéntanos, and it might be featured in one of our upcoming segments. Send them our way on our Instagram page at FayWhat on YouTube. At FayWhat YouTube, or email us at info@faywhat.com. So what an incredible show we had today. I'd like to thank my beautiful friend, Miss Josie, Chef Josie his house. Whoop, 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 whoop. Those behind the scenes that do everything for me. I just sit here and put on a dress. I could never do this show without them. To my producer, director, mi hermano, Luis Flores, I love you. Our project manager, David Fernandez, who always makes sure that I always look half decent. Yes. And all of you for letting us do our thing. Please join us next week with our special guest writer and director for the film Antonia, Miguel Miller. Antonia is a fantastic new trans film that is coming out at the end of the month. So you definitely want to come around the FayWhat show next week to check that out. Don't forget to share, subscribe, and like us on YouTube, Facebook, and IG. So you know what, people? LGBTQ plus celebrities must be celebrated and supported. All celebrities are important, I get it, but it's harder to get that deserved spotlight for your talent when you come from the LGBTQ plus community like the beautiful Miss Josie does. It takes all that you have and then some to represent and be visible like we really need in our community, you know, like Josie and many others that are out there doing their best to represent us to the fullest while achieving their goals. Support these folks, support them. The Out Olympians, support them, you know, like their posts, follow them, eat at their establishments, because we are all in this together. There's no need to push each other down, just like Josie said. Let's lift each other up to the highest of highs. Yo soy FayWhat. Thank you for allowing me to be me every single week. Every single week. You heard me? Every single week.
Heartache.
Heartache. I am sending you guys love, peace, and happiness. Los quiero.